You're watching a clip from the Club podcast.
Make sure you follow it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and give it a 5-star review.
So here you go. Here's a lovely clip from our podcast.
What's happening, everyone, and welcome to the club. Before we get into this clip, I need to let you know that this club is brought to you by the wonderful folk of NordVPN. NordVPN is a truly fantastic service. If, like me, you have not had a VPN in your life, trust me, you need to get one. It will improve your life so significantly. NordVPN allows you to protect your browsing data. It allows you to view things from all over the world. What you effectively do is trick your computer to thinking that you are somewhere else. It is the gift that keeps giving, particularly for watching football matches that perhaps you shouldn't be watching. It's also so cheap. It is comparable to the price of a cup of coffee, and the people of NordVPN have been kind enough to partner with us. They have supported the club, and we would therefore ask you to support NordVPN for all of your VPN needs. There is a huge discount available at the moment. You get 4 months extra totally for free, and you also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. One account allows you to partner with 6 different devices. So you pay for one account and you can partner with 6 different devices. And check this out, it is the Time Best Invention of the Year 2022. Enjoy the clip.
Let's move on to overrated or underrated. Isaac, Newcastle. Is he the new Thierry Henry? Like
He's not the new
Newcastle
Thierry
fans are
Henry,
saying?
so if you say that, I'm going to say overrated.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's overrated. He may be underrated, at this moment in time, because he's kind of gone under the radar. Obviously, you've got Callum Wilson at Newcastle at this moment in time. I think Isaac will be the main man there next season, leading the line. Be interesting to see him in Champions League for Newcastle as well, if they finally get over the
Stay
line.
fit next season.
Yeah,
What a
I
talent.
think a huge signing.
What a
They
talent.
spent a lot of money on him. He's probably their biggest signing, since the new owners come in.
Yeah.
And I think he's proved his worth. I don't think he's really underrated, but I think I'd edge more towards that than overrated for sure.
Yeah, I agree with you 1,000,000%. I think he's got the potential to be world class in his position, and that'll be Newcastle's challenge. Not about signing someone like Isaac, keeping him. Sam Allardyce, I can do this very quickly. I think he's underrated in his managerial legacy. Blackburn Rovers fans, Bolton, Sunderland fans. I think he's kept some major clubs, not only in the Premier League, but thriving. I think Bolton fans would say that. He's had 30 years in management.
I think his period at Bolton's underrated.
Europa League football.
I think his.
Ivan Campo.
I think. Okay, look, who recently have appointed him or about to appoint him? Leeds. I think they've overrated his abilities to keep them up.
If you gave anyone 4 games that you could feasibly actually attract to the club in that situation, I think he's by far the best, most qualified manager in a. It's ridiculous that any club is giving anyone 4 games to. Yeah, honestly, I'd argue for Harry Redknapp to organise a game, to organise 4 games. But no club should, especially a Premier League club, should ever be in a situation, especially a club the size of Leeds, of giving a manager 4 games to keep them up. But if anyone can do it, look at Roy Hodgson. That's all I'd say. James Maddison.
There was a period of time where he was. Remember, there was a period where him and Grealish were kind of being spoken about in the same kind of breath. Grealish has obviously pushed on. Maddison's had a few injuries, kind of, stagnated a little bit, and now he's doing really well in the last year, 18 months. His numbers are really high. He's killing it. I'd say underrated at the moment. He's had periods where he has been overrated, but I think he's underrated.
I think he's majorly overrated. This guy against Everton misses a big penalty. It's not just about, his quality on the ball is obviously there. He's head and shoulders above everyone else. I heard a commentator in a previous Leicester game say that he felt sorry for him because everything was going through him. He couldn't, he's got Ian Atcher running off him, some of these trash players that he's linking up with. It's not his fault, but there are moments where you just think, God, this guy, he's at Leicester for a reason. He's not. I don't think Newcastle would do well by signing him. I think they should go for someone better. I think he's a bottom half. Yeah, you start for anyone in Fulham next season. I think he's that kind of level. Palace. Look at Conor Gallagher at Palace, that kind of free roll. He's that level for me. I don't think him at Spurs, Arsenal, Newcastle, I don't think he does anything for me. Maybe that's a little bit.
I disagree. I think he's underrated. I'd take him at United in the summer.
Yeah, but
If Leicester go down, give me him 40 million.
Really?
50 million, yeah. I'd take James Maddison. I think at the right club, with the right coach, he's coming into what should be his peak years. He's probably wasted a few years. I think he's got the right drive. I think he's a sensible lad. I think he's underrated. Can't believe it. Jack, you're going to get beat up after this. Number one,
horrible.
Eric Ten Hag. underrated?
I think he's definitely not underrated. I think
not underrated.
He's not overrated.
He is overrated.
He's
not overrated.
potentially
I'm about to
overrated.
overrate
He's definitely not underrated. I mean, we've spoken about him on this show.
He's more underrated than overrated.
No, he's
Definitely not. We've
No, he's
spoken
not.
about
So he's
him.
overrated.
There's potential to just be seen correctly, isn't there?
But we have to do either.
No, but he's definitely not underrated because on this very show
Okay,
we've
it's a
spoken about
scale,
him.
yeah?
We've spoken about
It's
him
a
being
scale.
manager of the year,
So which...
and he's
I
definitely
never.
not manager
Who
of the
did-
year.
who said
Okay, he's
that?
overrated.
I never said he was manager of the year.
We spoke about it on
I
here.
never said
At the time, there was
didn't.
at the time.
Where's the
we spoke
scale
about
in?
it.
This
I
is-
think he's overrated,
you're
especially if he ends up
mocking
with the League Cup and fifth.
Tell you what's overrated. That
How much did he spend in the summer, Adam? That's horrible for
Not
you,
a
by the
lot.
way. He spent a lot, 150, 200 mil.
Not enough.
200 mil.
Not enough.
Yeah, don't look at my shirt. There's nothing on my shirt. He's slagging my shirt off as well. Mate, this guy's overrated. Yeah,
You're an
his
idiot.
brand of football's terrible. You got banged by West Ham, and you're about to come fifth in the Premier League. It's embarrassing. He's overrated.
He's underrated. Number 2, Yaya Toure.
Underrated. He's top 5
I agree with
midfielders
that.
in the history of the Premier League.
I don't agree
Hang
with
on a
top
minute.
5, possibly, but I think he's underrated.
He's not underrated because I think most people would agree that he's top 10 midfielders in the league.
But you know where I think he comes from underrated? You know when people bring up all the top names, he's very rarely mentioned and he should be mentioned.
But that's a City issue. People are
Yeah, no one
quite
cares.
snide on City legends. Like when does David Silva get mentioned in the greats?
Yeah, not enough.
Like David Silva had a better Premier League career than say Juan Mata, but I think more people think of Juan Mata as being a bit like, I don't think it's right, but I do think I think it's more of a City issue. I don't think
Yeah.
if Aguero did exactly what he did for Manchester City for Manchester United, he would be like lauded.
Yeah.
So I don't think Yaya Toure is underrated because I think he is top 10.
I think he's underrated.
Do you think he's higher than top 10? Because most people would say he's top 10.
That's the thing I don't... Like, you know what it is? I think... I'd put him up ahead of Gerrard on that.
No, mate, yeah.
And that's
He's
why I think
definitely
he's
overrated.
underrated.
If you do that, he's overrated.
You think he's not above Gerrard?
No, he's definitely not above Gerrard.
He's a better player than Gerrard.
Not a better player than Gerrard.
I think
My
he
God.
could do more.
No.
He has more aspects of his game at a high level.
now we're
than
going to make him
Gerrard.
say
You've let
overrated.
yourself down here.
Why? He's
You've
a
let
better goal
yourself down
scorer.
here. No,
Factually,
you're-
that's fact. He
you're-
control the game.
You are a joke.
More skill.
You are a
You
joke.
haven't been able to defend the point. Defend
Because
the point then.
no, but it would be like
Did Gerrard have scored 20 goals in a season?
It would be like asking me to have a conversation about Thomas Rosicky being.
But it's
being
not. I'm not
better.
asking that.
No, because it's ridiculous. I couldn't argue
Why is
that
it
Thomas.
ridiculous? Why is it ridiculous? If Yaya scored 20 goals in a Premier League season, Gerrard never has. You know, Yaya Toure controlled games at the base of midfield for the greatest club side ever in Barcelona. Then played at centre back against Man United and won the
You
Champions
could
League.
also
Fine.
argue he's the best African player the Premier League seen.
There is. That's a different conversation.
He's ahead of Drogba.
That's that's a completely different
I'm
conversation.
just trying to get...
But
I'm trying to just get a reaction.
there is. I can't argue that Gerrard is a better player than Yaya Toure because the answer is he just so is. It's just so apparent and so obvious that
ahead
Steven
of Roy
Gerrard.
Keane.
Steven Gerrard is far better.
Gerrard's ahead of Roy
I'm
Keane.
going to chin you in a minute.
Gerrard is better
Gerrard's
than
not
both.
ahead of
yeah.
Roy
He is.
Gerrard's
is
never
better
been
Gerrard's
ahead of
better than
Roy
Roy Keane.
Gerard's never been ahead of Roy.
Hands up if Gerrard's better than Roy Keane.
Gerrard, all right, Gerard's overrated. But moving on. Overrated or underrated? Arm wrestles.
I'm not doing one.
I think they're underrated. I think these two lads should do it.
I'll tell you what, I bet you we could do it
Do you know
without
what? though?
snapping each
do
other.
you know if I did it? Do you know if I did an arm wrestle?
Yeah.
I would care so little about the result. Like, say for example, you and I'd go, okay, do you want an arm wrestle? Okay, great.
Yeah.
Oh, I lost. You're the best. Like,
Do you think that's why Tom broke his hand? Because he cared
he
so much?
cared.
Competitive. He's a competitive kid, isn't he?
How the hell? Why is Theo at the bottom of the floor and he's at the top?
He's obviously just
just a
walked
hard
He's
around.
angle.
like
It's a hard angle.
absolutely killed him there.
The bit that I, you know,
Well, they haven't killed him, they just broke his arm.
It's so sad. I found it so distressing as well. Watching the
Lewis's reaction.
Louis, yeah, that was a bit that found because also when you watch that, there's a terrible sound.
That's the only time I heard the sound because I watched the clip.
Yeah, it's horrific.
Without
I feel
the
so
sound?
sorry for him, man. What like? It's,
Yeah,
it's
we love
just,
you, Tom.
It's just awful.
And we love you, Tom.
But what
So
about
if
Theo?
you don't want to be
Theo
treated
Baker,
like that,
Arnie, mate, he's the destroyer,
He's a big
the
lad.
YouTube destroyer, Theo
He's a big
Baker.
lad. Yeah.
he's loving it, isn't he?
Unbelievable. Mate, what about when he flexed his muscles in the video? Tom's sitting there in a wheelchair on gas and that, and the camera cuts to Theo Baker, who starts like flexing for the cameras.
How many sorries do you reckon Theo's said to Tom?
I don't think he can ever say enough. You literally broke my arm, mate.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do that. Like, he obviously did it by, like, I think he was
That is one of
mortified.
the most incredible things. That
Theo
I think,
Baker is-
because generally speaking, that's happened on a live
Theo
stream.
Baker must be the strongest man in YouTube.
Like that's going to be, you know, when they make like compilations of like crazy things that happen
Yeah.
on live stream.
Yeah.
That's going to be on like Channel 4 one day. On
Yes,
one of those
yes, yes,
shows. You know, like
Yeah, it will go on those most. It will. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It will. They pitch side doing incredible things. In the same weekend, they made history twice.
what? Imagine they did it at Anfield. Broke his arm at Anfield.
I mean, they would have got the. They would have got the clicks. I don't know where. Maybe it's amazing.
They got
from
the
Tom.
clicks, deleted the video.